Okay, we're going to move into leveling up to three-digit addition, and we're going to use dot math. So we're going to go ahead and create our little legend on the left. So remember, a one has kind of a dot above it or on the top. A two, you've got a dot on each end. A three, you've got a dot on each end. A four, this one's a little easier. This particular four has got two corners and two lines. And the five's a little bit different. Beginning of the line and the corners and the end of the line, but where there's a little curve here, you're going to put another dot. Now, the six you're going to count twice. So we're going to put a dot there, a dot where that line ends, and then on the curve. But you've got to count the six two times, okay? Now, the seven's a little bit different. You're just going to go one, two, three, and you're going to put a dot in the middle because you got to count these two times, okay? So one, two, three, four, five, six, and then that little dot in the middle, which remember the European, if you're in France, you've got a line in the middle, but you've got just one you're going to add at the end, okay? So let's look at three-digit addition. So to begin with, let's start pretty simple. Let's do one, two, three times, and let's make it very, very simple. Let's make it times, I'm sorry, plus 8. So we're going to add 8. Now, remember our rule. One, line them up, right? So you want to line up your numbers. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to get the bigger one for each column. So you're going to have to do this one column at a time. And you're going to add the smaller number, right? So take the bigger number and add the smaller number. Now, remember, you're going to have to give away. So this is in two-digit, and if you don't know what giveaway means, go back and take a look at two-digit addition, okay? So you're going to have to give away. So first of all, let's line them up. Now, let's use a different color here. To line them up, you want to make sure the number on the right is above the number on the right, okay? And I make little dotted lines. I always do this. And that's something you should get used to doing, okay? So first thing we're going to do is we lined them up. Check, done. Now we're going to look for the bigger and we're going to add the smaller. So always start with the first column. Okay, that's this one right there. This is going to be your second column, and this is going to be your third column. The biggest mistake that elementary students and even some high school students make is they don't line them up. Okay, the number on the right goes on the column on the right. So now we need to look for the bigger number. Well, 8 and 3. 8's bigger than 3, so that's our bigger number. And we're going to add the smaller numbers, so we're going to add the dots. 2, 3. Now remember, eventually you won't have to add the dots. You're going to memorize that a three's got three corners, and you're just going to go 8, 9, 10, 11, boom, done. So let's go slow. Here's 8. This one's going to be 9. This is going to be 10. And this is going to be 11. So we have an 11. And I always write that on the side. Okay. So we're going to take the number on the right because you only have one space. You can only fit one number in each of these spaces. So we're going to take the number on the right and we're going to put it down here and we're going to give away this number. Where are we going to give it? We're going to put it on the next column. So we're just going to put it up here. Now remember there's a blank right here. So if you remember from a previous video, the blank's going to be a 0, but we're just going to ignore it. Okay. And again, start with the bigger number and add the smaller number. So the big number here is 2. We're going to add the dot to the 1 and we're going to say 2, 3. And we're going to put the 3 down here. Now, do we have to give anything away? No, because the number's a 3 and it's not a 2-digit number like 11's got 2 numbers in it. A 3 just has one number. So we don't give away anything to column 3. So now we're going to go to column 3 and we're going to say 1, boom, done. There's nothing to add to it, right? Going to bring it down. So what's our answer? 131. Okay, so you could see here that once you understand 2-digit addition, 3-digit addition is pretty much the same. You just have another column. And 4-digit addition is just one more column. So it doesn't matter. Just keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. So remember, what's our rule? Line them up, right? So we're going to line up. That's number 1. Second thing, we're going to find in each column the bigger number, and we're going to add the smaller number, right? And then after we do that, we sometimes need to give away, only if they have a second column. Now, let's take another problem. So let's say 423 plus 98. So some of you can see immediately that we're going to have to give away quite a bit. Okay. So what's the first thing we need to do? Line them up. Now, you may say, I don't need to line them up. I understand where the columns are. No, most mistakes are made because students don't line up the numbers. Now you got one number here, one number here, one number here in the answer, and you might even have more numbers. But that's line them up. So we took care of that one. Now we're going to go each column, and remember this is column 1. Okay, the 3 and the 8. And each one's like a little teeny mini math problem. So 8 plus 3 is a mini math problem. The only difference is if it's 2 digits, you got to give one of the numbers away or the left number away. Okay, here's 2 and here's 3. So those are columns, right? So you'll notice there's nothing under the 4. Always start on the left. This is the left. Start counting 1, 2, 3. Always start with column 1, and that's the one on the far right. Okay. So even I get things wrong sometimes. So let's go to a different color. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to each column and add the big number. Take the big number and add the small number. So the big number here is the 8. We're not going to count that. I'm going to put the dots in just to help you out. And we're just going to count from 8 up. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So now we have an 11. I always write it over here so I don't forget. But we're going to take the right one and put it here. And we're going to give away the one on the left. That's this number. And we're going to put it in column 2. Why? Because we're nice and we're going to give it away. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to take the small number, and I always add the dots. And there's a dot up there. And now take the big number, which is 9. You don't have to count up to 9. You could just say 9. So there's 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, guess what? We have a 12. So we have the same problem we had in the right. We're going to have to give one away. So we're going to take the one on the right, which is a 2, put it here. Okay. Then we're going to take the one on the left and we're going to give it away to the next column. So it's a 1. So that one's pretty simple because there's nothing here, which means that it's an invisible 0. Okay. So we're going to start with the big number, which is 4 in that column. Look for the biggest number and just count up 4, 5. So we're going to put a 5 down here. Okay. So our answer is going to be 521, right? Perfectly accurate. Take a look at that. Kind of be careful. Did you get the same answer when you did it yourself? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let's do this one where I'm going to give you the question and you're going to see if you can answer it before I answer it. So here we're going to have 926. These are big numbers, huh? And we're going to add, and let's add 87. Okay. So try to do this yourself. If you have to pause the video for a second, pause it. And when you're ready to continue, let's hit play. All right. So hopefully you did this on your own, but what's the first thing we do? Line them up. So if you didn't line them up, you're in trouble because you will occasionally make mistakes. Now we're going to have one number here, one number here, one number here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take each column and go from big to small. So in this column, 7's big, 6 is small, and we got 1, 2, 3, but we got to count 2 times on a 6, anything above a 5. So we're going to take 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, and I always write 13 over here on the right. Take the one on the right, put it here, and give away this one and put it up here. So now we're going to go to the next column. So we're going to find this answer. We're going to start with the big and we're going to add the small. So the biggest number is 8. Start with 8, 9, 10, 11. Now, if you didn't see what I did 8, 9, 10, 11. So the answer there is 11. We have to do the same thing. We're going to take the one on the right and put it here. And we're going to give away the ones on the left. So one goes over here as well. And I'm going to put the little dot. Now, this one's very easy because there's 9 is the biggest number. and we just have to add 1. So we're going to count up 1, 9, 10. Now there's only one space here, but if you're at the very end and you have no numbers on the left, so you have no more columns, then just put the answer down here. 1013. So the answer is 1013. 1013. Now remember in column 3, that's this one here, if there's no more columns on the left, so there's no more numbers on the left, then you can't give away that 1. Okay. Now 9, 10. By the way, that was a 10. I forgot to write that. The 0 went down here, but the 1, you had no one to give it to. So guess what? You get to keep it. So you put it right next to the 0 on the left. All right, so that's what we call triple digit multiplication. And